I've always wanted to start a podcast. My inspiration, I can remember listening to a podcast and they were interviewing this guy who spent a lot of time in the Amazon rainforest. He was an explorer, biologist. In this particular time, they were searching for very large anacondas. I'm not a snake guy. I really don't like snakes at all. But he described this process of hiking weeks through the jungle, deep into the heart of the Amazon, through the densest rainforests that our planet has to offer. And he says he remembers getting to this place out in the middle of the river. It was in the dead of night. The moon was shining very bright, and he found himself on this island of matted grass with nothing but the moon for the light. And after all this searching and all this hiking and traveling through very rugged and foreign terrain, he saw it. He said the snake was so big, if he would try to put his arms around it, his arms wouldn't even reach the ground. When the snake knew that he was there, it casually slithered off and into the river. What drew me to that, like I said, it wasn't necessarily, the animal that they were researching or searching for, but it was the story and the way that it transported me into another world, and it engaged my imagination to imagine this lush foreign landscape that, if I'm being honest, I probably will never witness or see with my own two eyes. And the hunt for this almost mythical creature, the largest of the large anacondas, just sounded like something out of a movie. And in that moment when I was in my car listening to it, I was driving to God knows where, but in that moment I was smack dab in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, searching for monsters. That different world is what drew me to make a podcast. And that's the direction I want to go with this one. There are worlds out there that, the normal person, you who's listening, probably have never even considered. There are people who race motorcycles and ATVs for a living. They travel through the woods at breathtaking speed, looking through a viewfinder the size of your iPhone. And that's how they make their living. There are people out there that get up every day. They put on their boots. They grab their fishing rods and they head to the dock. And they fish. They go after some of the ocean's apex predators, or hunt the most elusive small game in the back country, the flats, or the inshore fishing. There are people out there that are teachers. They pour into the next generation, and they experience people on a different level that a lot of us won't ever be able to experience. We're not all going to be teachers. There are people out there who have struggled with things that you may or may not relate to, but you could probably relate to how they made it through that struggle. There's people out there who are searching for success, and that in itself is a journey worth hearing about, a story worth listening to. Their success is something that we can listen to, we can absorb, and we can apply, whether it's their mindset or how they handle certain situations, to the very struggles and situations that we may find ourselves in. And that's the direction I want to go with this podcast. My name's Griff Cotter, and this is One Call. Brought to you by the Service 360 Group. We are a home service company in Berks County, Pennsylvania, serving Reading, Wyomissing, and the surrounding towns and communities. We specialize in HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. But if you have a problem around your home or business, I promise you we can help you with it. We can figure it out. We're not afraid of general construction, drain cleanouts, whatever you have going on, I promise you we can help you with it. I haven't been in this position for very long. Right now, I am the marketing manager here at Service 360. I took this job about a month and a half ago. And the job that I came from hardly resembles what I do now. I take things that I learned in that job and I apply to what I do from day to day. But this world that I'm in now hardly even resembles the world that I came from. I grew up in West Virginia. I'm a proud West Virginia native. I went to school at WVU. I don't think we need to get into this right now, but I am a recovering drug addict. I celebrated 8 years clean and sober May 5th. I'm still working on that. It's become a part of my life, and it's made me who I am today, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I got a story. It's a story worth telling, and maybe one episode we will tell that story. But what I want to focus on today is that transition, that I made here very recently in my life. And to do that, I kind of need to describe to you, where I came from, why it wasn't working, and, ultimately why I decided to take this new opportunity and why I'm sitting in this seat talking to you today. So, I come from a very long and colorful history in professional off-road motorsports. Not as an athlete, but more on the operations side. I used to work as an event manager and a leader. I wouldn't call me the director, but a leader of the operations for Racer Productions. They're the company that manages the Grand National Cross Country Series, which is, for those of you that don't know, America's premier off-road racing championship. They're AMA sanctioned. They're the biggest, baddest off-road events that America has to offer. Basically, in a nutshell, what we would do is it's a 13-round series. We'd get started in late February, around Valentine's Day, and we'd wrap up the season on Halloween and travel all up and down the East Coast to farms, off-road parks. We've been to a couple NASCAR tracks, and we'd put on these racing events. The tracks were 13 plus miles when we could get them, running through the woods, through fields, and just a very dynamic working environment. Our races sometimes could field as many as 500 riders in one event, sometimes more than that, sometimes less. We gave an opportunity or a platform for riders of all ages and skill sets to come, race their machines. The job for me was more than a job. It was a lifestyle. I cared immensely about what we were doing, and I believed in where we were going. I learned a lot from my leadership. I looked up to them. And I cared a lot for those around me, and I think that's really why I did it. I stayed in a camper for half of the year, and I had to work very closely with my team because we had to spend a lot of time together. It's just the nature of the job. We had to become a family, and it was different, but for me, it was my life. I got to pour into people, and I got to get poured into. And, through the ups and the downs, we always had each other to lean on when we needed to. And it's just something, it wasn't what I was doing with my hands. It's what I was doing with, my experiences. And that's really what was attractive to me about that job. It was about who I got to spend my time with and, what we were fighting for. Because it was a family business, and we were doing things that, we shouldn't have been able to do. But with just grit and heart and work ethic, we were able to, accomplish some pretty cool things. One of my proudest moments, actually, it wasn't even at a GNCC. We were able to put on the 2025 Motocross of Nations. And for those who don't know what that is, it's probably the biggest motocross race in the world. We had it at our racetrack out in Indiana, one that we built with the landowners out there who are still some of my best friends, and we invited all the motocross fans across the earth to come to Crawfordsville, Indiana, and experience this world-class event on our turf. It was cool. People came from all over the world. I couldn't communicate to 90% of them. The place was as packed as I'd ever seen it. It's probably as packed as it ever will be until, that event comes back. But it was really cool. We got to work with the other biggest company in the world in putting that on. And it was just amazing to see how they do things. And I'm sure it was amazing for them to see how we do things. And it was a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights. But when I look back on it, it's, like I said, one of my proudest moments. So why, if, this job meant so much to me and I cared so much about it and had built, a 20-plus year career in the sport, why change directions? Well, what I haven't mentioned is I have a wife and a son. We had our son back in August. My wife and I have been married since 2023. So we're still kind of early in my son's life and in our marriage, if we're being honest. But, my priorities had to change. Obviously, that job required me to be on the road a lot, not at home. Found myself missing things that I didn't want to miss. And my family needed me. They needed more than the financial resources I was bringing home. They needed my, physical attention. And personally, like I said before, I was just missing things that I didn't want to miss. My wife has always been very supportive. Please do not take this, the wrong way. She's always had my back and will always have my back. And I promise you, if I never would have made the decision to make the jump, she would still have my back. She's very loyal. And I don't know where I would be without her. But I remember one night, we had found out about this opportunity. I have a relationship with my leadership here, which is how I found out about the opportunity. And I can remember walking into my living room. My wife was sitting on the couch, and we kind of looked at each other. She looked at me, and I looked at her, and she had tears in her eyes, and I could see the conviction in her face and the desire for change. And if I'm being honest, I was scared to death. I was comfortable. Where most people would be very uncomfortable doing what I was doing. I couldn't be more comfortable. It's what I grew up in. It's what I've been doing, professionally for, the last 8 to 10 years. There's some gaps in my employment there because of my history that I explained earlier. But it's something that I've been doing for a very long time, and I was used to living in a camper and used to changing my scenery every week, and only being home for a couple days at a time, and then packing my bag and getting gone again. I'm sorry I failed to mention my dog. My dog loved it. He got to come with me everywhere I went. He had full run of the racetrack. On Monday when we were cleaning up his trash day, he had the best life any dog could ever ask for. And honestly, I was thinking about him too in this moment, that like, if I were to make this decision and make this career change, then my dog's life is going to suck exponentially compared to where it was. But that look and those tears in my wife's face, I knew, and I was considering it, very hard. I was thinking and stewing on it for as long, literally as long as, Kevin would let me. But that moment was the tipping point, man. It was an opportunity to take a step out of my comfort zone to, a world that I know nothing about. I don't know anything about the home services industry. Let's be very clear here. I don't. I know that I'm a good learner. I can be a fast learner, and I knew I could get it figured out. I knew that I have a degree in public relations. I can do this marketing thing, but my day-to-day has never been purely marketing, sitting here at a computer trying to figure out how to best serve this community with the trades, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Like I said before, completely foreign, outside of my comfort zone. But in that moment, my wife was just convicted that, and she's always been my motivator. I think I said it that night, if she basically had to ask me to marry her, she had to convince me all the good things and the great things that have brought immense change to my life would probably have never happened had it not been for her. She pushes me to be the best version of myself, and I love that about our relationship. I can't tell you how much that that aspect of our relationship means to me. And that's what she was doing in this moment. And like I said, I could see it through her tears that she really, really, really wanted this to happen. And she could see something that I was refusing to, about the life that could potentially lie on the other side of this decision. And in that moment, tears started flowing from my face. And I said, all right, let's do it. I can remember calling my boss, telling my dad. And in the moment, I'm just being honest, it felt like I lost my best friend. My dad was my supervisor, and really the only time I ever saw him was when we were at work. I mentioned it before, but I just took, one of the best parts of my dog's life out of it. I work with my brother, and my friends, like my weekly entertainment in my social life was at the racetrack, and I just said goodbye to all of it and really stepped into a world that I know nothing about. It has been uncomfortable. I'm growing more comfortable every day. I'm glad, I'm really glad, really happy with the decision I made. I'm learning more today than I have in a long time. Probably more so than ever at any point in my life, and that's including college, because, man, if I'm being honest, college was a party. I never really applied myself there, and never, focused on what I really need to focus. Sure, I have the degree, but obviously after, I leveraged it into going to work for, at the races, someplace I already had a job at. And I needed this for myself. I needed to prove to myself that I could do it. I know that I can be successful, and that's not, a statement that comes from a place of ego. It's a statement that comes from a place of confidence that, success is possible. I can really, bear down, put my mind to this, work my butt off. I'm not afraid of hard work. I came from a place, my hands are still calloused, and I'm not afraid of long hours. I'm not afraid of doing something that I believe in, and I really believe in what we're doing here. So, I had a job that I liked, really wasn't working for my family, but I believed in it. Decided to make a really tough decision and say goodbye to that life and hello to a new one that I know nothing about. And now I'm sitting here in a chair starting a podcast. Why? Well, to be honest with you, because I think it's going to help me be successful in what we're trying to accomplish here at Service 360. I said this on the night of my wedding. I can remember it, and I've said it multiple times since. My greatest resource as a person are the people around me, my circle, my friends, my relationships, my acquaintances. Because I know whatever I'm dealing with, there's someone in my circle that can help me. They can help me find the answer. And if they don't have the answer, they probably know someone that does have the answer. And like I said before, I don't know exactly what I'm doing here. I'm learning every day. And so I thought it would be cool to share the most interesting people in my circle, to share their stories, look at their struggles, listen to the path they took, and examine their success in a completely foreign world that I know very little about. Sure, I know who they are. I've never got to sit and really, dissect who they are from a business standpoint, from a competition standpoint, and, just hear their story. I love listening to stories, especially ones worth telling, compelling ones. Like I said before about the snake in the rainforest, something that can remove me from where I'm at and take me to where they were and put me in their shoes. I want to do this. I want to look at people's success because I know there are things that I can learn, that I can apply to what I'm doing here, what we are building here at Service 360 to make us the best people. And if we're the best people, we can build this business to be the best business that it can be. So I want to call the most interesting people that I know, and bring them on the podcast, and then transport you guys into completely foreign worlds. We're going to talk to professional athletes. It's no secret. I know a lot of really fast motocross riders, really fast off-road riders, really fast ATV riders that have been doing it for a long time, that have seen things that the normal person would never even comprehend. Stories from mud races and catastrophic injuries that would put a normal person in the hospital for a long time and then change their life moving forward. And these guys will heal and go back riding and race faster than you guys would ever even imagine. We're going to dive into those stories. We're going to examine the path that they took to success. We're going to talk to some fishermen. There's a lot of stories that come from the ocean, and me as a person, I'm absolutely fascinated and infatuated with the ocean, and the animals that live in it. Sharks are my favorite animal on the face of the earth, and we're gonna talk to some shark fishermen. We're gonna hear some stories from the open ocean. We're gonna talk to teachers, and hear about their time in the classroom and what it's like shouldering the responsibility of the next generation. We've got a long list of stories worth telling, worlds worth exploring, and successes worth examining. So here's how it's going to work. You're going to give me, if you wish, your attention, and I'm going to give you some stories worth telling, some success worth examining, and you're going to be able to be transported from where you're at. That's my goal anyway, is to transport you from where you're at into these shoes and at the end of the podcast, I hope you're going to learn something from it. I'm really excited about where we're heading as a company, where we're heading with this podcast. And I encourage you to come be a part of the journey. If you're here in, our immediate area, Berks County, Lancaster County, Montgomery County, and you need some HVAC, electrical, plumbing work done, give us a call. We would be happy to come help you. We are building our business. We're doing what we do to the best of our abilities. We're trying to lead with love, compassion for the customer, and just be great human beings. That's what we're about here at Service 360. Trying to push each other to be the best version that we can be. And I encourage you to just join us for this ride. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're relaunching our YouTube page. We're going to have a lot of good stuff coming at you in the coming weeks and months and for a long time. So, I hope you've enjoyed episode 1 of our podcast, One Call with Griff. The goal is to be a weekly podcast. We're going to get started with a few of our guests here next week, and then hopefully drop one every week. We'll let you know on what day it's going to be, but man, we're really looking forward to it. We got a lot of exciting things coming, and we're pushing that half-hour mark, which is just about where I wanted to be for this first episode. Once we get someone in here and you don't have to listen to me the whole time, I can see them. It'd be nice to make them around an hour. It's a nice clean cut, but some stories may take longer than that. So, man, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening. For those of you that have stuck it out this far, we hope that you come back, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.